All right. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon and happy belated International Men's Day. My name is Srini Ramaswamy. I am the founder of Men's Circle India, and I'm thrilled to welcome you all on behalf of my entire team to the Movember webinar series. For those of you who may not know its origins, Movember is an annual global movement. It started in 2003 in Australia when two friends, Travis and Luke, were having a beer and they jokingly decided to bring back the mustache. The idea quickly evolved into the campaign to raise awareness and funds for the men's health issues. Today, Movember's primary focus is on four key areas: prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. It's about stopping men from dying too young and ensuring men everywhere live happier, healthier, and longer lives. We are proud to be part of that mission today. At Men's Circle India, our mission is to foster holistic health and well-being for men across all age groups and backgrounds. We are a for-profit organization dedicated to providing programs, solutions, and consulting for individuals and corporations. We focus on full spectrum of well-being, be it mental, physical, emotional, social, spiritual, occupational, financial, relational, sexual, and beyond. This includes our signature listening circles held every month in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, and Chennai. I will share the link in the chat window. So if you're keen to join us, the next one happening in Bangalore on 22nd, this Saturday, please do join us. To further our efforts in raising awareness and education about men's holistic health and well-being, we are hosting a series of 4 webinars this month, and today is the third webinar focusing on mental health and physical health. This is powered and supported by our great partner, Nasdaq. Thank you, Nasdaq team, for powering this important conversation. And it is my esteemed pleasure to welcome our 2 experts for today's session, Anubhav Jain and Dr. Divya Pal. Mahesh Kolari, who is a VP Software Engineering at Nasdaq, will be having a conversation with these 2 experts and deep dive into today's topic, sharing invaluable anecdotes, insights, and practical techniques. A huge welcome to the 3 of you and everyone joining on webinar. Now I welcome Mahesh to take it away and start the session.
Thank you very much, Srini. Am I audible to everyone, actually? Okay. Welcome, everybody. So as Srini mentioned, I'm Mahesh Kolari. I'm going to be the moderator for today's webinar. Part of Nasdaq team in Bangalore. Those of who are already from Nasdaq, they know who we are. But for the benefit of others, Nasdaq is commonly known for being a stock exchange. We are actually not just a stock exchange, we are a fintech company. We were the first one to start electronic stock trading back in 1971. Our headquarters is in New York, and in India, we are in 4 locations, and I'm based out of Bangalore. The second one being Chennai, Pune, and Mumbai. So on today's session, I would start with introducing Anubhav Jain and Dr. Divya Pal, 2 esteemed speakers that we have today on the call. Let me actually start with Anubhav Jain. Anubhav Jain is more popularly known as AJ. Some of you would have already listened to him in the past. AJ is a distinguished serial entrepreneur and the visionary founder of Gutsy, the flagship brand of the Wellbeing Collective. Drawing on over 20 plus years of global experience in scaling tech and FMCG ventures, AJ is driving the future of health by offering science-backed root cause solutions focused entirely on holistic gut health. Prior to his current venture, AJ has held a high impact government roles within UK government. As country director for DCMS, he was instrumental in the primary setup of UK India Tech Hub, a landmark initiative launched by the prime ministers of both countries, Theresa May and Narendra Modi. Further showcasing his strategic impact, he was also one of the only 6 international deal makers for the Department for Business and Trade, focusing on securing high value foreign direct investments. AJ's unique blend of entrepreneurial skills and diverse international experience makes him a truly insightful voice on scaling global business and innovation. He is a very popular speaker. So I welcome AJ to this forum and looking forward to having a wonderful conversation today, AJ.
Thank you, Mahesh. Really, it's a pleasure to be here and share more insights on this important topic.
Thank you, AJ. I would like to invite Dr. Divya Pal, another distinguished speaker on the stage today. Dr. Divya Pal has done her post-graduation in psychiatry from Dr. D.Y. Patil University, Mumbai, with a work experience of over 15 years. She is a consulting psychiatrist with the Department of Mental Health and Behavioral Science, Fortis Kolkata, and visiting psychiatrist at Apollo Clinic, Kolkata. She has been conducting various workshops at schools for students, teachers, and even parents. She has been actively involved in spreading awareness about importance of mental health amongst the corporates and other institutions as well. She has conducted many such webinars. So we will hear from her on more around holistic men's health, specifically focused around mental health.
Good afternoon,
So,
and thank you so
welcome.
much for having me here. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Divya Pal. So let me just start by putting a few points around why men's health and why physical and mental health. I'm sure all of you would have realized some point in time in life challenges of bringing up various situations that impact men's health due to the expectations around the social cultural expectations or being known for masculinity, actually, right? So we will talk briefly about what impacts it has and how we should look at overcoming those. It's important for all of us to understand the causes, the symptoms, and what we can do to holistically deal with physical and mental. Why I'm talking about physical and mental both as a health situations, both are so much interconnected. I mean, from ancient Indian medicine being Ayurveda, I mean, it always talked about physical illness connected to mental illness and vice versa, actually, right? The modern medicine most recently has been actually like doing a lot of research on this and found pretty interesting relevance and connection. So it is important for us to learn from that and inculcate that into our life. Being the Movember month at Nasdaq, we are actually like celebrating this month as Movember. Look at addressing some of those things, focusing on men's health. So that is with that, I would actually like start with a few questions. So how we will actually like structure today's webinar is start with few foundational questions to both our speakers, Anubhav Jain and Dr. Divya Pal. And then we shift gears and focus little bit on physical health and body with Anubhav Jain, and then go back to Dr. Divya Pal for a few mental health related questions and do a wrap up in the end. In between, we would actually want to have few polls just to understand pulse of our audience actually today. So we will actually throw a couple of polls in between, and we would see the results, and we can take some cues from that and talk about what you are actually interested in knowing. Before we wrap up, we will also have time for Q&A from audience. So that's how we would actually structure our webinar today. With that, let me actually start with AJ. There is so much talk about mind-body integration. What does mind-body integration truly mean in a practical sense, and why it is crucial for overall well-being?
Thank you, Mahesh. I think a fantastic question. And in your introduction, you talked about this word connection, right? And I think as busy professionals, it's sometimes very difficult to keep insight into, how do you actually continue to deliver 100% of yourself day and day. So this connection is something that I'm also going to just deep dive in. So while I was going through my professional journey over the past 2 decades, I stumbled upon this concept of the gut-brain axis. And I think that's what really helped me understand the whole concept of, the physical and the mind sort of connection. So that's the mind and body connection. And I realized that, we got to basically make sure that we're really, solid inside, because it kind of drives the right momentum for us in general when we're looking at every single task. So when I talk about the gut-brain axis, it's not just a philosophical concept. It's literally a physical two-way communication pathway between our gut and our brain. And I think it's very important to kind of understand this at a very grassroots level, because, just to give you an example, if you skip breakfast and then you get into a meeting and then you keep working, and you stop feeding yourself with good nutrients, you might start seeing some behavioral aspects, like you get sort of anxious or you get sort of cranky, and this is basically your gut's way of telling your brain that you actually need more nutrition, you need more food, you need more energy, and all of these things. So it literally is the gut is literally your second brain and is the primary control center. And over the past decade, this is something that I've been embracing. And there's this other concept of an imbalanced gut, which is called dysbiosis. And I'm using a little bit of scientific terminology here, but it's important to kind of understand this at a grassroots level so that you can sort of build off on this. So as we sort of are growing in our lives, we kind of go through various medical challenges. We have some pharmaceutical drugs, and that actually starts causing a lot of imbalance in our gut. And it's very important because these things can directly cause inflammation, can cause neurochemical changes that lead to anxiety, brain fog, and poor sleep. And I think we all know this, that we cannot be at our peak performance, if we don't have mental clarity or resilience, within our digestive system. And that literally powers everything. So it's important to basically make sure that, we focus a lot on our gut at the same time, which is the integral part of, running our whole system. And I'll talk a little bit more about this as we progress in some of the other questions, but I just wanted to kind of set the stage that the gut is a very important part of your overall well-being.
Thank you very much, AJ. Actually, right, for for insightful topic. Discussion on the gut. Actually, right. Very rarely we realize that gut has such a important connection to rest of the body health and the mental health. Actually, right. People say that gut is actually the origin of many physical or mental health, the root cause of many such things. Actually, right. Thank you for bringing that up as a practical view of the mind-body integration. I actually want to hear from Dr. Divya Pal on this view, on the same question as well, actually, right? What does mind-body integration truly mean to you in practical sense?
It's actually very true, people always differentiate between their brain and body. It's like, okay, if my body is functioning, it doesn't matter whether, I'm feeling tired, or like, AJ also said, whether I've had breakfast, I skipped my dinner. As long as I'm working, I'm fine. As long as the body is going. So what people don't understand is that our body is one. So your brain is equally important as compared to your mental health is equally important as compared to your physical health. And they have to go in harmony. You can't expect that if I'm physically fit, I have to be, it doesn't matter whether I'm sad, I'm crying, or I didn't sleep for 10 days, but I'm managing my work. I'm taking care of my work at my workplace, at my family, and my life is going on. It doesn't happen like that. Now, if I give you examples, like he said, one of our most important example, I'm sure he also knows, is IBS. We call it irritable bowel syndrome. So the main cause when a patient or anyone comes to us, IBS becomes anxiety, becomes underlying anxiety and depression, which starts having these, GI symptoms, which is anxiety. Which is acidity. They have heartburn, they have gastritis, they are vomiting, and they've undergone millions and millions of tests and all the investigations. But ultimately, the root cause comes to their mental health, their emotional imbalance. So this is very important that if you are physically fit, your emotions play 100%, like it's 50-50. It has to be 50-50. If your physical health is 50%, emotional health equally 50% plays a very important role. And of course, I think we all are very familiar with all physical health problems like cardiovascular. Like if you have an heart ailment, the doctor says take care of your mental health, emotional health also. When you have diabetes, and there have been various studies like diabetes and blood pressure are linked with emotional disturbances. In fact, it's vice versa. There have been cases done where diabetes and hypertension, if a patient has underlining, they have had depression and anxiety. And people suffering from depression and anxiety, they've also, in course of time, they've had diabetes and blood pressure because their anxiety and depression was never treated properly. So all that stress causes. So of course, it goes hand in hand. I think
absolutely, Dr. Divya Pal. With all these challenges, and let's say somebody is having haven't had a breakfast, get work, and not able to focus, but often the expectation is for a man is okay. This is a common saying that be a man, actually, right? Not show up any of that in your work or your interactions, and hide those symptoms, actually, right? Or be it you're anxious, or you had a bad day, but still you're expected to show 100%. That adds up a lot more to your mental health and physical health, actually, right? So the follow-up question on that is for AJ to start with is, how does the conventional definition of masculinity often hinder a man's ability to seek help for both mental and physical health issues, right?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mahesh, for that question. I think, like if I were to just rip this question apart for a bit, I think it's basically our own restrictions that we impose on ourselves, right? I think, if we honestly think about this fear of being judged, is something that I think is the sad reality that a lot of people go through. I think we always have to kind of like start taking this perspective of living more authentically and being ourselves. And if someone else judges us for being ourselves and sharing our thoughts in ways that we truly want to, I think it's their problem and not ours. Uh, so I've literally embraced this concept of just being myself and pushing through any situation that I'm in. Um, and we're not here to please anyone. I think, this is something that as men we have to embrace a lot more of, is that we should just do our best, and I think that is enough. Doing our best time and time again, showing up and expressing ourselves in the way we want to express ourselves is very important. So if we kind of like live in this sort of a mindset, I think we'll be able to address some of these more common masculinity challenges that you're talking about. So that's what I'd like kind of want to share, but I'm sure a lot of people have questions about this. Happy to answer them towards the end.
Sure. Yeah, this is definitely one of the most important considerations, and people would definitely have questions. Let's hear from Dr. Divya Pal on the same topic, actually, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So see, masculinity has a lot of definitions from every different point of view, right? But if we see our society from generations and generations, we've had a very deep-rooted, very strict patriarchal form of society, right? It's been from generations where the men have been like, okay, you're a boy, you have to take care of the family. You are the man, you have to have the financial burden, you have the ailing parents, you have the wife. And before that, so what happens is that when a boy is small, it's been rooted inside them that, oh my God, you're crying, you're so unmanly, you have to get up. It doesn't matter. If your toy is broken, just get up and go ahead. Like, why are you crying? If somebody hit you, why are you crying? So that is where, if you ask me, the makeup, the psychological makeup for the gender bias that I see for men is very different from the childhood as compared to the women also. So men are, psychologically, their personality development starts in that way. But I don't know how to show my emotions. Okay, if I'm crying, I'm unmanly. So that is wrong. So you grow up with that ego, that attitude that I cannot cry, I cannot express my emotions. So in the beginning, when they're small children, okay, it's fine with them. They might have irritability or something, but as you grow, you start subsiding those emotions because you feel that there is no one around you. You are the only one who has to take care of everybody around you. So what happens is, as you grow, you're not able to share your burden. You're not able to express your emotions in a very correct way. And when you're not able to express your emotions, they come out in different way. Now, some people say, I have work overload. I cannot manage. That could be, an underlying signs of depression and anxiety because they don't know how to work out. I'm not able to sleep for hours and days because I have a lot of work. But it could be because they are feeling so alone in the night. They are scared. They don't know how to show their emotions. So, it starts and it slowly starts building up. And that is where the emotional imbalance in the men also start coming up. And at times, the personality changes that are seen if, when we start going deeply into the patients, when we start talking to them, the intensive therapy sessions coming up, actually we come to know that it is not the work pressure. It is basically the deep-seated, the thing that you are a man, you cannot cry. You don't know, you've never been, shown how to be vulnerable. That is, that's why I said masculinity for everybody is very different. The definition becomes different. We cannot anymore, stick to the Oxford Dictionary because it's different for everyone. Now, on the other hand, if I see, now the new generation, especially thanks to social media and with all these webinars and all, the newer generation is still being more focused, is being more exposed to it. So now we actually have, in our own practices where men actually come to us forward, coming and they are telling us that, we are facing this problem. There are issues happening and I don't know how to deal with it. So, they're helping each other. So it's both way, but yeah, we still have a long way to go when it actually comes to, changing the definition of masculinity that, we cannot be patriarchal. It has to be gender based. So it has to be both the way we have to deal with our emotions.
And very well said. And it actually like increases the importance of need for fighting the stereotypes actually, right? That are and it's a superbly told and put down the Dr. Divya. So let's actually like move on to the next segment. Before that, let's actually like pop up our first poll actually, right? We can actually get that on the screen. Thank you. This is around the barrier and the symptoms actually, right? Mostly focusing on the physical health as you can read it on the screen. So let's actually like see what audience view on this. Okay, do we have everybody's response by now?
So we've got like 69% that has come through, 72,
Maybe give
almost
another 20
there.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's good to see some people have quick fingers, Mahesh.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So 80%. We're almost there, guys. Come on. If you're on another call, this is the call to be on.
Yes.
Multitasking.
Yeah.
Multitasking is another big thing right now.
Those who joined late, nothing you have, this topic is yet to be covered, actually, right? This is going to be the focus for next few questions. Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need a lot of background before you answer this. Okay, I think we are almost there. Another 4 audience. Okay, I think in the interest of time, let's actually move on to our segment. Actually, right? I think as I see in the results, I think work and family demand and the time actually, right, is the biggest barrier is what I see. But the challenges of confusion, nutrition, and energy and motivation are high up there as well. So let's actually switch to our next segment, AJ. This is going to be more around physical health and the body. I'm going to direct these questions at AJ before moving on to Dr. Divya Pal on the mental health. Focusing on the internal engine, AJ, what are the key health challenges for men today? Example, consistent fatigue, metabolism issues, stress related digestion issues, and how is the health of the gut the root cause? I mean, we touched upon this topic beginning. I think it's a great topic to elaborate further, so that people gain a lot more awareness and knowledge.
Absolutely. And it's great to kind of like get the poll results in as well. And, like if we just talk very high levelly of the results, we've got like people feel like, when they're trying to address their physical health, 47% of people said they don't have enough time because of, work and family demands. So that's always been the topmost number as well from what we have seen at Gutsy. The second highest is confusion about nutrition or supplements, because again, there's so much of content out there, and everyone out there will give you a tip, do this, do that, try this out. So it definitely echoes our research as well. And then the next third one is again general lack of energy or motivation. So it kind of like from a hierarchy standpoint makes sense. And then the last point is conventional views of masculinity. So it's good to not see this as number one, being very honest and I'm actually a little happy to see that it's not the topmost issue. But yes, work and family demands definitely puts a lot of pressure on the man. And if we talk about some of the major challenges that we face internally from a physical standpoint, right? It's persistent fatigue, despite enough sleep as well. Sometimes people constantly feel that, they need a lot more sleep or their sleep wasn't that great. We started seeing a lot of people, experience this stubborn weight gain as well, because as we have work and family demands, we don't have enough time to prioritize ourselves, go to the gym, go for walks, go for a run, go for a swim, go for golf or whatever, right? The physical activity sort of takes a backseat in a number of ways. And Dr. Divya talked about IBS as well, right? And IBS is becoming a massive challenge area in the fabric of India, and this is primarily stress-induced digestive chaos. This is what I tell a lot of people. And these issues aren't isolated. These aren't isolated issues, they basically often stem from a dysfunctional gut. And I think that's something that a lot of people need to start embracing because the microbiome that's inside of us is primarily responsible for nutrient absorption and it regulates our metabolism, our hormone balance, as well as the immune response. So that's something that, the earlier you understand, the better it gets. And if your gut microbiome is imbalanced, your body is in a state of chronic chaos. You might have low grade inflammation that makes you feel tired, slowing your metabolism down and making you feel a little less resistant to stress. So if you start curing your gut, in a number of ways, you'll start seeing that you're starting to take a lot more control of your physical well-being. and your mental well-being as well. And Dr. Divya might talk about this slightly later on. And there's some things that we have noticed as well in our conversations with a lot of people. A lot of people have chronic antacids, or they might take painkillers, and popping these medications without a pharmaceutical, sorry, a medical representative that's basically guiding you is just trying to basically solve a symptom that you might experience, but it's also killing the good bacteria in your gut as well. So this is something that we tell people, that do not take these medications just if someone recommends them to you. You have to basically consult a medical advisor really well. And ideally, you should also look at like a symbiotic solution to rebuild your gut's natural defenses, rather than just suppressing the symptoms. So, you talked about the root cause, right? And if we talk about medication in general, that's to basically solve a symptom that you're experiencing more on the external side. And if you were to address something more at the root cause, you're looking at it purely at your gut side as well. And that is through introductions of like probiotics, prebiotics. You might want some nutrients as well. You may want some herbal extracts as well, to kind of like just make sure that, your gut is functioning in a way for it to work at its optimal level to, again, drive positive physical development. So these are some things that I think I'd share. But just touching back on the point on confusion from a nutrition standpoint, one thing I would suggest is, like what may work for someone may not work for you. So don't take things as status quo as well. Always talk to a professional. Always talk to a professional. There are so many dietitians that we have. There's so many nutritionists that we have. Always, where you feel like you genuinely want to make a conscious change or move forward, you should always seek professional help, no matter whatever the challenge is. Don't feel afraid. It may cost you less than a cost of a beer in today's day and age, but it will be worth it. Trust me.
Yeah, thank you, AJ. I think we can probably like dive a little deeper into a few aspects of what we just talked about, right? Let's talk nutrition, for example, right? How does the food we eat, and specifically the health of our gut microbiome directly influence the sleep quality, energy levels, the mental resilience, because these are so much very important for the physical and the mental health. Can you talk about these,
Yeah.
please?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you're raising the point about, how nutrition affects, all these aspects. Let's talk about our mood, right? Because that's something that I think is very erratic in today's day and age. We sometimes will be happy and then we'll experience sadness literally very, very quickly. And I want to kind of like share a very important fact that I learned through all of our scientific research, that the gut produces 90% of our body's serotonin. And that's our mood stabilizer. And if we talk about, there's this concept of gamma aminobutyric acid, which basically is also produced as well, which promotes calmness in our body. So, it's very, very important to basically make sure your gut is always in check. And your diet like literally determines, the quality of all of this. So it's important, like if you go and have like, say, a burger, right, which is heavily fried cheese and all these kind of things, versus, something that's a little bit more healthy, you always will feel slightly different. Yes, you might get a temporary satisfaction if it is craving led, but your body is definitely going to feel a lot more better if you have a better diet. You're looking at consistent sort of approach on a daily basis. So this is something that a lot of people need to understand, that the gut is responsible for 90% of your mood. And Dr. Divya can sort of, confirm this or not. She's probably the specialist here. But also, if we talk about, energy and sleep, bacteria produces our short chain fatty acids, which come from fiber. And the SCFAs basically help us in regulating our sleep, metabolism, and help heal our gut barrier as well. Because, like I mentioned earlier, that the gut is responsible for nutrient absorption as well. And it also, if it is compromised, it will start actually accepting things that it should not be accepting as well. And if your gut barrier lining is perfect, then you would also see a boost in energy as well. So this is something that is very, very important to keep in mind. And people should start focusing on, diets that are rich in fiber, fermented foods, diverse nutrition, to feed the bacteria. Introduction of like maybe nuts as well, like sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, all of these things. And a lot of people kind of like have these sort of misstep situations, like rushing lunch, like because you have a meeting in 5 minutes, eating under stress, eating a heavy meal quickly, at your own desk while answering phone calls. It's so important to, also let your body know that you are now putting in food into your body, because the food also that goes in needs to be, broken down in a specific way. It needs to be managed by your body in a specific way. So you also need to let your body know that food is going into your mouth. This concept of, the digital distractions we have, where we are looking at our mobile and having our meals. This is something that I tell all of my team members. We have a mixed population at our workplace. We've got Gen Zs, we've got, I don't know what, Gen XYZ as well in our company. And sometimes they'll come and bring their food, and with their food, they already are watching something and they're sitting on their desk. This is something that should not be done at all. I always tell people, as a quick fix, a quick 5-minute decompression is very, very good. Practice like literally 5 minutes of breath before your meal and your first bite, and then chew slowly. A lot of people say you need to choose 157 times, but I'm just going to say, like, aim for like 20 to 30 sort of chews, because that actually also activates the vagus nerve, which signals your body, that food is coming in, and it's just going to, go into digest mode, and once you're sort of done with that. So this will also help in preventing bloating. Bloating is becoming such a big issue in the Indian ecosystem at the moment, that, people are they know what the problem is, but they're not really kind of like making that change. And I hope with these sort of webinars, we're able to drive a lot more awareness and drive the right practices. So I would honestly suggest, for people to kind of like at least practice this quick fix of 5-minute decompression. And yeah, we've got tons and tons of other proper nutrition-backed and dietitian-backed recommendations. So always happy to share that as well. And Srini has put a link of our website in the chat as well. So if you want, you can go and check more about us. And yeah, happy to answer more questions as we progress.
Thank you, AJ. I want to quickly jump onto the poll, actually, right? One more poll before we actually like start on the mental health aspects. Can we get the second poll on screen, please?
Hey, Mahesh, we had both the polls up, so people had responded, if you see.
Okay. I did not see the bottom part. Okay. Thank you very much, Srini, for letting me know that, actually. Yeah. Okay. So let's actually like jump onto the second aspect of the health that we want to talk about, mental and emotional well-being. Dr. Divya, what is the role of purposeful aging and finding meaning in life through new goals, and how does it contribute to long-term well-being? Right. If you can actually talk about the social engagements, the healthy behavior, the coping
Right.
mechanisms,
So
or anything
yeah,
else.
so
would be really
yeah,
good.
so what happens is purposeful well-being is like, you have to start it from the beginning. I think I'm really glad AJ had picked up some really good points, like, talking about mindfully eating your food, because, the time you chew, he was absolutely right. It stimulates your brain also. So it's, basically, as human beings, we feel it's also part of process of aging, because we are so into multitasking everything around us. We feel that when we are multitasking, we are like superheroes. I'm a super mom, I'm a super father, or a super employee because I can multitask 100 things together. But what actually we don't understand it, our brain works best with one task at a time. Of course, we are human beings. We are not going to do one task at a time. We also, as psychiatrists, we also don't do. We are multitasking 10 things together. But what I'm trying to say is that what is the most important thing at that time? Focus there. A very simple example is that when we were in school, we had a timetable, right? So the reason that we were given a timetable was because it gave a purpose to our day. It gave a purpose to our day that, okay, we are going to school, this is your first period, then you have your sports, your other activities, and you're back home. So, that is the way your brain actually functions. It is not only for the children, it's even for adults. Your brain needs to know what it's doing. But when we are multitasking, we are, actually just like he said, chewing a food, we are replying to a mail side by side, or we are watching a phone, or, okay, I'm having my lunch, but I'm responding to mails, I'm doing something. So my brain doesn't know. Am I supposed to respond to the mail properly? Am I supposed to eat what I'm eating? your brain doesn't get that stimulus. You don't understand whether you even had your lunch or not. So, that's why people do feel hungry, because I did not have, even though after having your lunch. So we also have these patients coming up and saying, ma'am, how do we live our life? Now we are aging. How do we have a purposeful aging, purposeful way of living? It starts from a basic thing. Start having a time management of your day. That's very important. It is a very simplest thing. I think, people find it the biggest cliche when I talk to everybody, even when it's talking to the children in the school, even at corporate levels. People think, what do you mean by time management? It's a very simple thing. The minute we understand time management, half of our purposeful, aging is changed, is taken care of. Because in that, it is difficult. I understand with this, I cannot take out 2 hours, 3 hours for my hobbies every day. But I'm sure you can take out 15 minutes of the entire time just to sit back, not do anything, actually get bored. In layman's term, just get bored for 15 minutes. Not looking at your phone, digital detox for 15 minutes a day. It actually helps your brain. I'm sure we all are aware that digital dementia is at rise in children, in adults, and that is only because of our phones. Purposeful scrolling, just scrolling, looking for likes, looking for reels. It is causing dementia, and digital dementia is actually a term that we started using in our everyday practice nowadays. Time management. Have social interaction, no matter how difficult the life becomes, no matter how many difficulties we have. But if you have a group of circle of friends you are comfortable talking in, it also improves it. It improves your mental well-being. You're doing your physical activities. Again, I'm not saying go join Zumba classes or do yoga, take a dance class, go for gyms, whatever suits you in your everyday. If I give you my example, something, when I'm driving in the morning, of course, we all hate traffic. I'm also not a big fan of traffic. And we also know that when traveling from your home to your workplace, minimum time, even nowadays where I stay in Kolkata, it takes me 1 hour. And I know no matter what time I come out. So how do I, relax myself? What I tell people is I put on music when I'm driving. That is my way of relaxing myself. That is my way of starting my day, because I know the minute I leave I step into the hospital, I am with my responsibilities. It's with everybody. So if you're driving on your own, start listening to music. We all hate traffic jams. We know people are recklessly driving. We will blame everybody. But let it be. Just let them. You know how you are driving. You listen to music and you drive. It's easy to say, but believe me, I do that, so it's not difficult to do it. It again improves your day. It changes your mindset. These are small things. If you start doing on everyday basis, it does help you relax, and you will see the way you're aging, the way you start seeing that day changes a lot. Now, if I leave my house when I'm very angry and upset, so I know how I'm going to behave at my workplace, no matter how easy the situation is. But if I am leaving and listening to music that I like and reach my workplace, so even as head of the department or whatever responsibilities, you are able to tackle them by being more resilient. So I think that is what purposeful living is, what we should all understand. Purposeful living is not, joining 10 different hobby classes, making your weekend chock-a-block because you want to have purposeful living. It is not that. It is simple daily tasks. Just getting up half an hour before you want to and sipping your tea and coffee on your terrace, or just looking outside your window if you don't have a terrace. So this is how you calm yourself. You give your brain a stimulus. Okay, I'm starting my day. It's not a rush hour time, because rush hour we all are going to rush. That's what our life is. We are going to multitask also. And very important, prioritize your task of the day. If we prioritize our task, it's again, I'm sure, when everybody goes to the doctor says life changes you have to do. It's not because they're just saying. It is purposeful aging, basically. It is simple, purposeful aging that we start from the simple things in our house. Time management. And if you have time in the night, just make a list of things you want to do the next day, priority wise. And in the night, when you see at your list, cancel it. Again, I would like to please emphasize, do not use your iPads for this. What I suggest is a paper and a pencil. because your brain gets the best stimulus when you're working on a paper and a pencil, not when you're typing or using AI and ChatGPT. It does not work then. So use a paper and pencil, cut down the task you did in the day. Yeah. Actually, I have the same thing. So it is how it helps you realize and gives your brain a stimulus. Yes, I achieved so much, and now I have to achieve this tomorrow again. So that is where your purposeful living, your purposeful aging starts.
Thank you very much, Akira. I mean, a lot of practical techniques and ways to achieve it, starting from digital detox to various other things that you talked about, Dr. Divya. Would you want to delve into some specific breathing exercises or any other mindfulness that, I mean, you already touched upon a few of them during the previous question, but anything you want to elaborate a bit more on?
Okay, so see, what we recommend when we are doing as therapy is that, we do something called as imagery guiding relaxation. So what happens is it's available on the YouTube. You get a lot of, if you just type, let's say imagery guided, not meditation, but relaxation. So what we tell the patient here is that soothing music has to play, anything, if it's possible, and start visualizing things that you like, especially when you become very anxious. Okay, so it's like going into your own happy place, and then you stay for a couple of minutes, and then slowly and slowly come out of it, and then try to solve the solution, the problem. And the second is when you're very anxious, what we tell something is, okay, it's something like, let's say if you're very anxious or restless, like you suddenly, something very, very scared. So what you do is you identify 5 things, which, let's say, if I give you an example, 5 things that you can see, anything, maybe with red color or just in general, 5 things, and start focusing on it. Like if I give an example, what are the 5 things, red color, I can see around me? So what happens? Your brain starts shifting its focus from being anxious about a situation to a different thing. So 5 things that I can see are red in color. Then after that, what you do is, let's say 4 things that I can feel. So you touch 4 things around you. Could be a paper, could be pencil, could be your laptop, anything. So you give your brain a stimulus of touch. Then something, let's say you can hear. Now, in hearing, what we recommend is that you're not supposed to be on a very noisy platform. So that is where you put on some music. Okay, maybe if you're driving a car, you can put on some soothing music. So basically what happens, these are certain techniques that we do. But again, what happens is, like, these techniques are taken care basically by a therapist. So it's a quite elaborate process, but yeah, breathing is best way. It is not meditation. Breathe in, breathe out, normal way. There is no meditation here, and focus on your breathing. That is very important. That calms you down the best.
Yeah, I mean, well said. Actually, observing the rhythmic breathing is so important. Actually, right? I'm just thinking that let's get into Q&A. Few questions. Let's take a few questions from audience. Actually, right? Anybody that want to ask question, please unmute yourself and ask. There's already one question that has come in the chat. Actually, maybe let's take that first, right? How would you like to redefine masculinity? Right? Who wants to take that question? Dr. Divya, do you want to actually talk about that?
Redefine masculinity. Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's a very simple thing. There is no definition of it. It's your emotions, your feeling, how you want to talk about your own self being a man. You should be open. You should feel comfortable about your body, about your emotions. You should be aware about your thoughts, your emotions, and have the right outlet to take it out. Have a safe and secure environment around you. So just because you are a man doesn't mean that you have to, put everything on yourself. Share it with your parents, share it with your siblings, share it with your spouse. You will see the definition, what we feel will eventually change. So it's not that I'm masculine, I'm feminine, I should have these traits. It's not. I think that gender bias is already going out. We are doing everything together. So there is no definition, but have the right outlet of your emotions and become aware of your own self. That is very important.
Thank you very much. AJ, you have a question on the chat actually. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for sharing this question. I think let's be realistic. I think balance is a myth. Everyone talks about work-life balance, or you don't know how to balance. I think balance is more subjective to you as an individual, and you should start embracing that balance. And that balance is yours, it is no one else's. Um, and it's very important for you to define that balance. As an entrepreneur, like we've got a lot of challenges we face. We've got team management, we've got investor management, we've got go-to-market strategy, this and that. Like there's so many things that we're looking after. But I think it's also about being realistic about several things and trying to find methods that work for you directly. This is a very big sort of question, Vishal. So, I can kind of like take it in an offline situation as well. As part of Men's Circle, we have fantastic opportunities to actually meet virtually or even in person and talk more about these things and help each other out grow. But this is something that I've realized, that I define my own balance. And when I feel like I need to take time to, prioritize my mental well-being, I take that time. When I feel like I need to prioritize my physical well-being, I just literally sort out all of my priorities and then kind of like decide to go into the mountains for a hike, maybe go for a cycle run, maybe go for a mountain climb. And I try to also get into situations where there's some fantastic facilities where you can actually work and play as well at the same time. So I'll just give you an example of one of the practices I do. I'm currently based out of Delhi NCR in Gurgaon, and there is this place called Climb Central where you can actually climb rock walls. And I do a call, and then I strap myself and then go hit a wall, maybe 2, 3 wall climbs, spend maybe 20, 30 minutes, come back, decompress. I think decompression is very important to kind of like go from one mode to another and kind of like find that balance, because it's not easy. Let's be realistic about it, but everything that is in your control, you should control. Anything beyond that, let the universe deal with it. But this is my little bit of advice to you for now.
Thank you, AJ. Any other questions audience want to post actually?
Perfect. So while we're probably waiting for questions, maybe I'll just share something very quickly. And Srini, if you can help me share a link in the chat here. So, like as I was building Gutsy and helping people prioritize their gut health, a lot of people were asking us questions, like how do I actually know if my gut's compromised? And if it is compromised, what exactly should I focus on first? Because, we can't really start building the Eiffel Tower without knowing where to start, right? So we actually worked with a lot of scientists, a lot of doctors across the globe, and we've developed this fantastic gut assessment that literally is a list of a couple of questions. It takes hardly like a minute or two to kind of like go through. We don't take any personal information per se, but yeah, to see the report, we need to at least validate some of the information. So it's a free report that you get of your gut at a very high level. And it also comes with like a free 90-day plan that helps you in these small tweaks that you can start implementing at your own level, and you'll start seeing a lot more changes. Yes, we do have a product as well that can help you side by side, but please understand this. We don't have a magical pill. There is no such thing as the fountain of youth. So we embrace a holistic well-being approach, and our products are basically more to set the right foundation and for you to sort of like continuously build on that foundation. So feel free to go ahead with this. Since there are no more questions, I'd like to maybe give 4 foundational suggestions to everyone. Try to basically make sure you have diversity in whole foods. Don't just stick to one meal every day for the rest of your life for breakfast. Bring in that diversity. Look at different forms of hydration. Move away from sugary substances, carbon dioxide-based substances, and focus more on consistent movement. As professionals, we're always sitting. Get up, shake your legs, look outside the window if you have a window. If you don't have a window, change your job, right? Sorry, I know a few people are here from Nasdaq, but I'm sure you guys have a beautiful office. And the fourth most important thing is protecting your sleep. This is something that a lot of people literally keep in the back burner the endless scrolling of Instagram or whatever you are on, like maybe even LinkedIn as well. Dr. Divya mentioned something very important, that if you're writing in the middle of the night, just before sleeping, do not use your device. Do not use your device. 15 minutes, 30 minutes before, you should put it aside, because that's your way of telling your body as well that, now you need to go into deep sleep, recover from everything that goes on in the day. So basically, these are 4 key takeaways that I'd kind of like ask people to sort of focus on. And we are available on LinkedIn and other places. So if you want to connect up, feel free to connect there. But Dr. Divya, over to you as well.
Thank you so much. Yes, please keep your devices away in the night. I think that's a very good point, because people feel that if I'm watching or scrolling, I'm sleeping better. No, you're giving your brain a stimulus to stay awake, not to sleep. So I think that's a very good point. Right. So, yeah, at Fortis also, we have this Fortis helpline, which is a 24/7 hours helpline with the Fortis Mental Health Behavioral Sciences Department, which is across the country. And this helpline is available throughout the 365 days a year. And it's available in different regional languages. And we have all our trained psychologists working on it. So in case, if you're not able to understand Hindi, English, or maybe you want Gujarati, Marathi, Tamil, anything, when you pick up the line, you can actually request them and they would link up with you with the psychologist, easily available for that particular language. So I would really recommend everybody to please note it down. Give it across, because it's the helpline where, it is the biggest stigma around mental health. We can't go meet professionals. We can't go to a psychiatrist. What will people think? If you can't do that, please call on this helpline, take immediate help before actually, you want to go ahead with anything. So this helpline is the biggest thing. And yes, our department has a lot of books written, simple language, no medical terminologies used in in these books. So it's something which are easily available on, I guess, Amazon also. And you can easily get them, just read through it. You can put them in your offices where people can, go through, especially Alone in the City is really a good book. And The Champion Within, it's written by our sports psychologists, but it works for everyone basically. It's not only for sports people, because if you read it, you'll see every day we can use it in every day. So yeah, this is something we've come up in Fortis, and feel free to contact us wherever you want and whenever you want.
Thank you very much, both AJ and Dr. Divya, for sharing valuable resources, actually, right, for people to note down and reach out for additional help and support. Are there any other questions? If not, actually, I think we should probably wrap up this discussion, probably, right, Srini? I don't see any questions coming in. Okay. Thank you, AJ and Dr. Divya, for all your insights and valuable suggestions to all of us here. And I think we would probably wrap up. Srini, you want to say anything else before we wrap up?
No. Thank you so much for everyone for joining in. We are at the hour. If you have some questions, I put my email ID in the chat window. Feel free to reach out to me. And both Anubhav and Dr. Divya's pretty much available online on social media. So do get in touch with them if you need any help, support. Thank you once again. And we will see you on the fourth and the last webinar, which is on the 27th, which is focusing on relationship, intimacy, and sexual well-being, a topic that a lot of men try to avoid. So we are kind of unpacking and making all of us are uncomfortable. So join us on the 27th. See you. Have a great rest of the evening and take care and stay safe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having us.